My name is Melissa Rivera, and Julius and I are the, leaders of Hagert St Playground. I'm excited to be here tonight to share what we've been doing and a particular story that is really close to my heart. But I wanted to say that what I keep hearing from all the stories is that everyone is trying to find very creative ways of making sure that we are either physically creating sacred spaces or creating spaces that are sacred spiritually, so that people can be human, and I think that's really important. So we grew up in North Philadelphia, around Hunting Park area, and that is an area that was infested with drugs and poverty. And a lot of broken families. We come from broken families. And when Julius and I got married, we moved into our house on Hagert Street. And that was about 17 years ago. Oh my goodness. And when we moved there wasn't this we're gonna clean this up and make it a better place. It was just, that house is affordable and we need a place because we're having a baby. And so we bought the house, and then we noticed that there was a lot across the street that needed to be cared for. I did not want to live across the street from a lot that was dirty and infested with rats. And that became a part of Julius's routine on Sundays. It became a sacred place for him on Sundays. And we don't have any pictures, but it's a beautiful place that has been tended by us and neighbors, and we're committed to it, and it's a play garden. The other thing that we've been invested in is the Hagert St Playground, which is directly right next door to the play garden. And this playground for many years was mostly concrete, very outdated play equipment. But kids still came and they still hung out. And we started joining the efforts with New Kensington CDC to clean up the playground because we wanted it to be safe for the kids. And selfishly enough, we wanted it to be safe for our kids as well. But we started to develop relationships with our neighbors. And through that, there was this, as Julius and I began to grow as individuals, as a married couple, and as parents, there was this sense of, we didn't realize how much our dignity had been ripped from us as children because of poverty and systemic racism. And so we were we need to find creative ways of not only restoring our dignity, but restoring the dignity of the land around us and the people who live on this land. And so a part of that was simply doing cleanups at first, and then there were events that included barbecues, and then there was this advocating for the playground to get renovated. And that took several years. But the reason why the playground being renovated is so important is because what systemic racism and poverty does on a biological and psychological level is it creates this hunger and this need for either physical activity or even food or for emotional reciprocity, but not enough spaces for it to occur. And in a playground, people get to not only play and have their endorphins move around, which helps to decrease anxiety and stress and depression, but they get healthy activity. And then we're creating these relationships that hopefully help to empower them to want to reclaim their own dignity as they grow older. And so where we are right now is our neighborhood has gone through a lot of changes. We're in East Kensington, and there's lots of gentrification happening, and we've lost a lot of our old neighbors that would come out and play with us and play with our kids, and clean up and have hot dogs and things like that. But some of them are still there. Some of them are still anchored there, and they still deserve that playground. But now we have an influx of new neighbors. And so our work is not only in maintaining the play garden and the playground, but it's also in figuring out how do we bring these two worlds together in sharing space and having peace. And so I'm going to turn the mic over to Julius.
She was supposed to tell the personal story.
Oh my gosh,
and
yes.
I was supposed to do everything that she did.
Oh my gosh! I forgot about the story.
It's all right. I'll tell a story now because that's the other thing. All right. So, a story.
Yes.
We had kids who were climbing in places that they weren't supposed to climb. They were climbing in dangerous places where if they had fallen, they would have, gotten seriously injured. Melissa was home with a baby in the house, and she sees the kids climbing. She knows that we've reprimanded the kids several times and told them, stop climbing, you're going to get hurt. We don't want you to get hurt. Please stop doing that. All right. And she was like, I don't really feel like I want to do that today. And so she was like, what is a creative way that I can respond? Instead of doing the dance, how can I change the dance? And so what she decided to do was, instead of saying, hey, kids, get down from there, she said, hey, are you hungry? And the kids were like, is she talking to us? Yeah. All right, I'm going to order a pizza. All right, so, she's like, oh, crap, now I got to go actually order the pizza because they said, yeah, we're hungry. All right, so she orders a pizza, they come down, they eat the pizza, and now they're all friends, they went to school together and all, you know what I mean? But what happened was by establishing that initial rapport when they were young, because now some of them are like teenagers now and as tall as we are, what happened is from that point forward, whenever we intervened, they still went up. But they didn't go as frequently, and they didn't respond in an inappropriate way when we were involved, when we spoke with them, because of the fact that Melissa changed the dance. And so one of the specific moments that were very moving for me personally was one time when one of my neighbors came to me with an image of sneakers, all right, from their camera, from their house. They said, the kid who wears these sneakers stole our plants out of our planter, and we want to know who he is. They were demanding justice. Now, what was fascinating is I knew whose sneakers they were. All right. Right. So I go and I speak with the kid, all right, because I know who the kid is. And at first he's like, no, I didn't do it. He was no, I don't know what you're talking about, right? And then I was like, come on, dude, I know it was you. And they, oh, sorry. I just wanted to get some flowers for my grandma. How heart-wrenching, people. Right? And so what I love about that story is it just speaks to so many of the other things that we've heard so far, where people are just trying to be normal. And the opportunity to be normal is being ripped from them every day. And so They watch movies where people are picking flowers. They watch cartoons where people are picking flowers, and they are not permitted to pick flowers without being jailed, without being criminalized or punished. And so all of these things that we're doing to restore and empower and heal, it's very interesting that we're working so hard just to help people do what people are supposed to do. And I feel like that's hard for other people to imagine. People who don't experience it are just like, what? They just be normal, just do normal stuff. Why do you have to involve yourself in criminal activity? What's wrong with you? A lot of times it's not that they're looking to do something criminal, it's that they don't have the opportunity to do what's normal. And when they do try, well, then it's criminalized. And so to that end, keep doing the work that you're doing. Keep trying to offer opportunities for people to just do what humans do. And let's all do that together. Yeah?
Yes.